Forget Return of the Mac. Forget Mac the Knife. The only song that quarterback Mac Jones is going to be singing this week is Start Me Up. Stay tuned. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful, and thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of our New England Patriots coverage and also your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube, so smash that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And, of course, don't forget to download and follow Locked On Patriots wherever you get your audio podcasts. My name is Mike Debate. I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. Let me know what's on your mind. Drop me a line at MDABATENFL on Twitter. And while you're out there showing some love to that Twitterverse, please be sure to follow the Locked On Patriots account as well at LO_Patriots. And today, folks, we are going to be talking the installation of Mac Jones, at least for Week 8, going to be your starting quarterback this Sunday against the New York Jets in the green side of the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium, at a 1 p.m. kickoff this Sunday. And here to break it all down with me is the resident voice of reason here on Locked On Patriots, the man with all of the answers when it comes to the essentials for the New England Patriots, columnist extraordinaire for PatsFans.com, as well as being the co-host of not one but two amazing podcasts, Patriots 4th and 2, and, of course, One Patriots Place. He is my Patriots paisan, Steve Balestrieri. Steve, welcome back to the pod, bud.
Oh, thanks for having me, and coming to you via the Nile. Here we are on a sailing boat on the Nile. I took that at sunset a few years ago, so I figured we needed a little sunset on what happened on Monday.
Well, you look great. The background there, I'll tell you, it looks tempting. Yes, it is fall here in New England for those of you that are viewing this from New England, because we really have viewers from all over the globe, really. And I really appreciate those of you that are overseas in Europe, South America, Asia, that view this podcast each and every day. Thank you. Bless you by all means. But Steve, I think we're all a little envious. We want to be on that yacht. We want to be on that boat right now where you are. But Mac Jones is in the starting boat. He's in the starting position. Of course, Field Yates first breaking the news yesterday of ESPN, stating that Mac had taken 90% of the starting team reps and saying that he will indeed be the starting quarterback. We talked to Mac after practice while the day was wrapping up, and he sounded like someone who is very single-minded of purpose and what needs to happen this Sunday. Bill Belichick, we talked to him today, meaning Thursday, folks, and not really very committal, but Bill Belichick essentially confirmed that Mac will be under center this week, stating that he's good to go and that he's fully healthy because he has been removed from the injury report. Bottom line, Steve, is this the right choice for the New England Patriots?
Oh, absolutely. I think Mac Jones gives the team a much better chance of winning. I think he's a better quarterback than Bailey Zappi is at this point. Mm-hmm. So, if you want to relook at this at a later time down the road, I'm sure it will be done. But I think right now the team needs to rally around Mac. The coaches need to rally around Mac. And I know the other players will. It's just a question of finding what works and, running with it. I'm not saying I know there was a conspiracy theory out there that they were trying to undermine Mac, but I think they need to use what worked for them the past couple of weeks when they were winning and go with that. I thought they changed the play calls up a little bit between when Mac was in and when Zappi was in. And, they just need an overall much, much better game than they had on Monday night.
Yeah, without any question. I mean, and look, it goes deeper than just the quarterbacks. Devin McCourty, Matthew Slater spoke to the media yesterday. They both reiterated that point that this was a very poor effort on both sides of the ball against the Bears. The Patriots defensively just could not stop the mobile quarterback that is Justin Fields. They had difficulty against the run. Whether it was because guys like Barmore and Duggar were on the shelf, I think that definitely had a big impact on the game as well, because you take out those two guys, especially the way Duggar's been playing lately, changes the complexity of the way the Patriots defend, the aggressive nature that they have, and also the ability to contain the run up front. Lawrence Guy looked a little bit limited. They did miss Barmore's presence. So in a lot of ways, you have that to contend with. But on the offensive side of the ball, when it comes to Mac, I think you're spot on, Steve. Look, there's no question about it. The kid has struggled this year. When I say the kid, I mean Mac. When I say that, he's struggled to begin the season. Decision making hasn't looked as as confident as he did last year. He's making some throws, forcing some throws, and it looks like he does have a little bit of a comfort level void in the offense right now. But at the same time, you also look at what the Patriots did when Bailey was in there, and they simplified it. Like you said, the play calling was a little bit different. I don't buy into the whole conspiracy theory that there's two separate playbooks and all that. I think that's a little bit far fetched. But in terms of the difference in play calling and the difference in what you're seeing, the Patriots return to that back to basics approach. And we even talked about this last week when you joined me here on Locked On Patriots, pulling the guards, utilizing the run, utilizing having that open up play action is something that Bailey Zappi did very well. And one of the reasons why he had such a great amount of success. I know you feel that that's the best way for the Patriots to go ahead and to do that this week. I'm right there with you. The question is, do you think it will happen?
I'm hoping it will happen. I
Mm,
mean, what we saw on Monday night was just plain awful on all three phases of the game.
mm,
I didn't particularly like the play calls. The offensive line play was really subpar for the way they've been playing up until Monday.
mm.
And then defensively, I mean, the defensive front seven, I thought had a just absolutely terrible game. So I think they need to go back to what worked for them, and then go ahead and try to not turn the ball over on Sunday. And that's going to be tough against this Jets defense. They're legit.
They are legit. And we're going to be talking about that Jets defense in just a moment, folks, when Steve gives us his predictions on what will happen on Sunday in Week 8 when the Patriots take on the Jets in their home stadium. But I did want to touch on something that you mentioned before we take our leave of this subject and talk about another player that's having his struggles as well. And this one surprises me, as I'm sure it surprises you, and that is Jake Bailey. But you mentioned Isaiah Wynn, you mentioned the offensive line, and I know that Wynn being out, I'm certainly not going to start throwing laurels his way because I think there is something to be said about the struggles he's had this year, and I know the fan base definitely has had their fill of what Isaiah has brought to the table this year. And I think a lot of that is justified. I will be very honest with you. But one thing that he does very well is anchor this run protection scheme that the Patriots have on the offensive line. And him being missing, Murph touched on this the other day, Marcus Cannon showing that maybe he is a little long in the tooth to be handling those duties full time. So for all of the trade talks surrounding Isaiah Wynn right now, and who knows, it may come to fruition where the Patriots do indeed decide to move Isaiah. I would be cautious to do that. I wouldn't be hesitant, but I would just think twice about it because you did see the value that he can bring to that run protection. The Patriots obviously did not have that, didn't run the ball well at all on Sunday or Monday night, and hopefully they'll run it better on Sunday. Steve, it's always good to be able to talk these matters with you, and we will continue to talk that because we're going to be talking about a favorite subject of ours in just a moment. I tipped my hand earlier, folks. You know what's coming. We're going to talk the struggles of one Jake Bailey. How surprised is Steve to see Jake struggling as much as he has? We're going to talk about that and more in just a moment when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. But first, folks, these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% sure that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. And that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team. They help you do it faster. And here's the best part, folks, they help you do it for free. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Steve, it's always a lot of fun when you join me here on Locked On Patriots. You are the resident voice of reason, my friend. You always bring a reasonable, level headed approach. You might say that you provide the meaning of life here in New England when it comes to being a Patriots fan. And I say that with all reverence. But, Steve, I've been doing a little bit of recon work myself. And you know what? I think I've discovered the true meaning of life here. I really, really think I do. You know what the meaning of life is, my friend? And I think my listeners might know this if they listen to yesterday's show, but just in case you don't, the meaning of life, folks, comfortable pants. I'm telling you, whenever you're wearing comfortable pants, just everything always comes together and the world just seems to work a little bit better. And to get the most comfortable pants you've ever owned, guarantee you that, folks, go to our friends at birddogs.com. I own a pair of their joggers, and Steve, let me tell you, higher quality than what is out there, affordable price. You know what? If you go buy some bird dogs, you're always going to be happy with those. If you're like Steve and I, no matter what the degree is, whether you're lounging on the boat right now in Florida sun, or you're up here in New England battling some of those cool, crisp autumn mornings, or maybe even down to 10 degrees in the winter, you're always wearing shorts. Well, let me tell you, bird dogs, they have their signature shorts with built-in liners. They are the most comfortable shorts in existence. Folks, don't delay. Do it today. Go to birddogs.com and enter promo code Locked On, and they'll throw in a free Bird Dogs rope hat. That's birddogs.com with the promo code Locked On, and as the late great John Madden would say, boom, a free Bird Dogs robe hat with your pair of Bird Dogs. The most comfortable shorts, pants, and sweatpants with built-in liners you'll ever want. I promise you will not want to take things off. They will absolutely be your favorite pants. Birddogs.com. Patriots fans, the Patriots Paisan here on Locked On Patriots. My good friend and columnist extraordinaire at PatsFans.com, Steve Balestrieri, joins me here on the pod today. Steve, we talked a little bit about the reinstallation of Mac Jones as the quarterback, but Mac's struggles have not been the only reason that the Patriots have had their difficulties lately. And one of the players that is surprisingly having a real difficult time in 2022 is punter Jake Bailey. Steve, we've seen Jake at his best. You and I have both sweltered in that hot summer sun in the media tent, watching this kid during training camp. And we've seen him boot punts that we joke all the time that probably are down your way and haven't landed yet. This kid definitely has the leg. He had the talent. Former All-Pro, former Pro Bowler. I mean, you name it, this kid has done it. But this is not a situation where he's played very well this year. He really has had his struggles, so much to the point where the Patriots are working out a handful of punters this week to either bring someone aboard on the practice squad or maybe even be available for a practice squad call-up, a game day elevation, if these problems continue. How surprised are you by Jake Bailey's struggles? And if you could make an educated guess, what do you think is wrong here?
I don't know what's wrong. I know last year he struggled a little bit because he had a lingering knee injury, which, we saw that on the kickoffs. He'd only take a single step. But so there, in that instance, we can, kind of point the finger at that. This year, he was supposedly coming in very healthy, but he hasn't been the same punter. I mean, his average is well down for what we're used to seeing from him. And he's very inconsistent, which is another thing that we're not used to seeing.
Right.
His net average this year is one of the worst in the league, only 34.5 yards per punt. That's pretty bad. I mean,
31st in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was either 30th or 31st. I didn't want to say that without going saying the wrong thing, but I don't know what's wrong with him because his consistency is not there. He's put more punts, I think, in the end zone than he usually does in probably almost the whole season. Usually he's, I mean, spot on at putting it inside the 20. We're not seeing that. The line drive punt, on Monday night, it directly led to a 27-yard return, which put the Patriots in a really bad field position. And I think the team isn't just sending him a message, to pick up the pace a little bit. I think they're seriously looking at making a move. Not that it's going to save him a lot of cap space, because it really won't. But I mean, they can't be pleased with the way things are going with him. And, that's one of the things I thought I'd never be saying when it came to Bailey.
Yeah, without question. I'm as surprised as you are, and I agree with you. I mean, there has to be something underlying because we know that Jake has the ability, not just the ability to kick deep. I mean, we've seen guys come in with powerful legs that couldn't get the job done, pinpoint control, things of that nature, and they flame out pretty quickly. Jake didn't seem to be that type of player. When we saw him as a rookie and evolve into the player he's become, this kid had control. He had the ability to make the punts where he needed to make them, place the ball in the areas where he needed to make that, and also be able to weather through a lot of the elements we've seen him kick through before, whether it be harsh New England winters or whether it be Buffalo winds. This kid is definitely someone that has handled it all. And Bill Belichick even said this in his post-game remarks to the media, saying that, yeah, it was misting. It was kind of like a really crummy night, but he's seen worse conditions. But against the Bears, Bailey punted 4 times. Kicks traveled an average of only 40 yards with a net of just 31.8. Right now, it really is, I think, a real difficult situation to try to pinpoint what is wrong with him because he's not on any injury reports. So you have to take the team at face value and think that he's 100% healthy, that he's not. I mean, obviously, there's always bumps and bruises that aren't reported, but there's nothing lingering or nothing that's really hampering him. So whether it be psychological, we've seen guys go through this. I mean, the shanks are something that are very common in golf. Who knows if this is a situation where he's going through that, but it caused a lot of people, especially the struggles that he had last year, to talk about whether or not Bailey could be on the chopping block. Steve, we talked about it earlier this year when we were talking about the draft, and then maybe the Patriots might dip their toe into some of the more promising punt, gods out there that were out there at the time. And thankfully, they didn't do that because obviously other circumstances and other situations prevented that from ever happening, and rightfully so. But at the same time, it also makes you wonder how long these issues have been festering and whether or not things are getting worse. So hopefully Jake can right the ship because I've always liked covering him. He's always been accountable, and he's always been someone that I believe is giving 110% every time he takes the field. But you have to start producing. And if the Patriots are getting poor field position each and every time out because of poor punting performance, a change may have to be made. And I think that's why you're seeing the Patriots take the steps they're taking right now. Steve, the Patriots don't just have to right the ship when it comes to punting. They have to get back into the win column, and they're going to do so or attempt to do so against a team right now that looks pretty good in the New York Jets. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is indeed the case, and it is indeed the situation. So, folks, we will get Steve's prognostication on what the Patriots might end up doing this weekend and how he sees this all shaken out from the green side of the Meadowlands when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast wraps up. But first, folks, I want to tell you a little bit about our friends over at PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy. And here's how it works. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people, so you're not competing against guys like me or Steve or anybody else out there that you happen to be playing PrizePicks with. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you watch, and this includes NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, men's and women's college basketball, college football, you name it, they've got a beat on it. The entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. That's right, folks. It's that easy to play. The withdrawals, they're safe, they're fast, and it's currently operational in over 30 states and in Canada. So download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. So if you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, that's right. PrizePicks gives you $50. So don't forget to enter that promo code Locked On at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com. Patriots fans, the resident voice of a reason. My Patriots paisan, columnist extraordinaire from PatsFans.com, Steve Balestrieri, is here today to help wrap things up on Locked On Patriots for the afternoon. And Steve, obviously, the New England Patriots and the New York Jets are coming into this at two opposite ends right now of the spectrum. The Jets at 5-2, the Patriots at 3-4. Probably wouldn't have predicted that preseason that these two teams would be at those records at this point in the year, but alas, here we are. And yesterday, I had the good fortune of being joined by my good friend John Butchko of Locked On Jets, and John mentioned something interesting that he believes this game is going to be a lot closer than the record would indicate. He thinks that maybe the Jets are a little bit of an overachieving 3-2, and that the Patriots may be an underachieving 3-4. And I think that's a very accurate assessment. But you are the resident voice of reason. You help to keep things on an even keel. When you look at this game and you look at what the Patriots can do, first of all, what do they need to do to win on both sides of the ball? And how does this one shake out in the Meadowlands?
Well, looking at from the defensive side, they have to be much more stout in the front seven. The Jets, like the Patriots, Robert Saleh, he's made it very clear that he wants to have a running football team with a complementary passing game. And, they have been, that's how they've been winning during this 4-game streak that they're on currently. But they suffered two big losses. Breece Hall went on IR. He tore his ACL. He looked like he was primed to be the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And then Vera Tucker, their tackle, went on IR with a torn triceps. So the opportunity is there for the Patriots to bounce back a little bit in the running game. But they did. The Jets didn't hesitate. They pulled the plug really quickly on a trade. They picked up James Robinson, which I think is a really good pickup for them.
Absolutely.
How effective he'll be in week one, we'll have to see. But on the flip side of the ball, I think the Patriots have to get back to what they do best, and that's running the football, which they haven't done very well against two really poor run defense teams in the Bears and the Browns. So, the big matchup for me, I doubt we'll see David Andrews this week. And, not Brian. I keep saying Brian. With Ferentz in there.
James Ferentz.
James Ferentz. I get all them Ferentzes confused. With James Ferentz in at center this week, going against Quinton Williams, who's, I think, probably the best defensive tackle in football right now. I think that's a mismatch for the Jets. And, if that's right in the center of your line, that can create a lot of havoc. So they're going to need to give him some help. They're going to have to figure out how they're going to do that. And the main thing offensively is they need to give Mac time to throw. They can't be having him run for his life how he did 3 times on Monday night, which he gained 24 yards. And until the third quarter, he was their leading rusher, which tells you how things went.
Right.
But they need to give him time to throw the football. And they need to get back to running the ball. I don't know how they're going to be able to do that because Williams has basically been a game wrecker all season.
Yeah, he has been. I know the Patriots want to try to get the ball back on the ground. And, I'm guilty of this as anybody. Even in the previous segment, I said they've got to get back to pulling the guards, utilizing the run, mixing in the gap runs along with the outside zone. But that's easier said than done because when you're facing someone that has the ability to change the game, like a Quinnen Williams, who was, I think, very well categorized yesterday here on Locked On Patriots by John Butchko, mentioning the fact that he is a game changer and really has stepped up to an elite level. As a matter of fact, one of the matchups he's looking forward to most is watching him go up against Cole Strange. This is going to be a very big game for the rookie, and he's going to have to be as good as he's ever been to contain that type of a defender. But you're absolutely right. If the Patriots are to be successful, they need to get the running game going, no matter how difficult it is. So can they do that? The offensive line has to set the tone. And also Mac Jones, has to set the tone as well and be able to buy himself time in the pocket if it looks like that the offensive line might be breaking down a little bit. So a lot of moving parts for the Patriots need to come together in order for them to put points on the board. Steve, when you look at this Jets offense in terms of being able to contain them, we know that right now when you said about, Robinson, coming in, and also the stuff that you said earlier, is there any scenario where you look at this and say the Jets put the ball in Zach Wilson's hands regardless of the running game and he can win it for them almost single-handedly?
I don't think so. I mean,
Mhm.
he hasn't done that since he's been back. And I think the Patriots have been really good at defending the pass this year. I think, in that matchup, they probably have the advantage there
Mhm.
over the Jets offense. And if they can get the ball or force the ball, I should say,
Mhm.
into Zach Wilson's hands and make them beat him, then they have a puncher's chance on Sunday, to pull away with the road victory, which I think they really need.
Yeah,
But I think the Patriots defense is up to the challenge. They have to execute this week. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I
yeah.
you know with Brees Hall in the lineup, I thought the Jets would have the advantage running the football. This week, without him in there and Robinson, just coming over,
Right.
I think the Patriots have the advantage there as well. Although I think Michael Carter's a really good back.
He is. Yeah, and Carter can definitely handle some of the load. Robinson is a definite good pickup for the Jets, but again, he's very new to their system. And even if systems are similar or you're a pretty good logistical fit, it usually takes you a couple of games to get your legs underneath you. So if there's an opportunity for the Patriots to put the clamps on, it's trying to make this a defensive slugfest. And I think that's exactly what you're going to see. I don't think this is going to be a high flying, high scoring matchup. I think you're going to see two teams that are trying to gauge each other in terms of offensive prowess by really showcasing what they can do on defense. And I'm looking forward to a fun one. I'll put you on the hot seat, my friend, just because you're my paisan and I know you can handle it. How does this shake out? Game prediction.
Well, I predicted that they would split with the Jets this year,
Mhm.
and I think both teams are going to win in their home turf. So
Mm,
I picked the Jets this week. I said I think a couple of turnovers late is going to hurt the Patriots, and they're going to lose 27-10 this week.
yeah, I kind of went with a homer prediction yesterday, simply because I'm just, I don't like picking the
I
Jets, my
wanted
friend.
to
But
say the
you know what?
Patriots.
Bottom line, this is a game that the Jets on paper look to be the more stacked team, and they look to be the more accomplished team. And again, I would have never thought that from the beginning. I still don't know how that at some points throughout the week, various points that the Patriots were favored in this game. I don't understand it. But regardless of what, I mean, that's why they play these games on the field, not on paper. So, Steve, we will see if you have that voice of reason, that wisdom beyond your years and beyond these few days to prognosticate this game correctly. And of course, my friend, next week we'll be back right on here on Locked On Patriots, and we'll be sure to remind you whether or not you were correct or not. All kidding aside, folks, thank you so much for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots. I always have a blast when my Patriots Paisan joins me. Before I let you go, my friend, please let everyone know where they can find you, what you can have, or what they can expect coming up from you in the days and the weeks from the great pen, the great voice of Steve Balestrieri.
Well, thanks for having me, Mike. As always, I enjoyed talking football with my paisan. Uh, I write for PatsFans.com. You can find me on Twitter at SteveB7SFG. Um, everything else is at Steve Balestrieri and all the social media platforms. This week, we'll be looking at the key players to watch. I mentioned Ferentz and Quinton Williams, but there's other matchups. I think if Kyle Duggar's able to go, that'll be a big boost for the Patriots defense.
Yeah.
Some other key matchups in the game, but I think it's going to be an intriguing week with the trade deadline coming up. I think the Patriots will probably sell off a couple of players because they don't really have a lot of cap space to be making some moves here. But, we'll see. You never know what they're going to do. So
Yeah.
that's always the beauty of this sport, especially with Bill Belichick, because he plays his cards close to the vest.
He truly does. And that is definitely something that we will continue to keep our sharp eye on here on Locked On Patriots as the trade deadline approaches on Tuesday, November 1st. Will the Patriots be buyers? Oh, will they be sellers? Oh, God, I can't stomach the thought, folks, but it could end up happening. So we will continue to keep our eyes peeled and to keep our ears to the ground to bring you the up-to-date latest on all of the trade rumors surrounding the New England Patriots, and of course, continuing to bring you coverage right up until kickoff on Sunday as the Patriots and the Jets get set to hook it up on the green side of the Meadowlands. Folks, thank you for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. Hopefully your first listen every day. And now that you've made us your first listen, for your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and of course the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts, as well as Locked On Patriots. And thank you so much, folks, for listening with us today. On behalf of Steve Balestrieri, I'm Mike Debate. Continue to stay safe, stay well, be the change you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone.